For the presentation of the X-Ray 6000 Pro, I'm going to speak with the respective area sales manager, Mr. Christian Schalisch, to understand more about its functionalities and advantages. So let's go. Hello Christian, welcome. Welcome to SIKORA Connect.
Good morning.
Good morning. So today our topic focus is on insulating and jacketing lines. But to be very accurate, actually this is such a broad topic, so where is the focus now?
Yeah, all right. So the focus is today on insulating and jacketing. That means it's present all over the globe. So every cable has an insulation. So the various field is really many industries, meaning datacom, automotive, construction business, but also energy cable.
And I think SIKORA is active in all of these industries. What are typical challenges customers are facing here?
Yeah, the challenges are, I think, always the same. You want to produce a cable with a good quality, but at lowest possible cost. So let me explain that with an example of the value chain of a high voltage cable.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. So you see in this animation a high voltage cable which is produced. That means everything starts with a compacted copper core. Over this copper core we have three insulations: inner semicon, insulation layer, and outer semicon. And they are made of quite expensive pure plastic. Over that you have some rigid armoring, rigid copper wires, and some blocking tapes, some protection tapes. On top you will get you will apply a jacket. Again, out of polyethylene material normally. So if you now see these different steps, every step gains some value on the product. So let's say if you have a fault in one of those steps and you don't recognize that, that means your final product will be scrapped in total, which is a loss of a huge value.
Yes, and we definitely want to avoid that. So what to do to avoid things like this to happen?
Yeah, basically you want to constantly monitor the quality of the cable. You want to react if something goes wrong. So in this case, for example, when we look at this cable again, you see, for example, the rigid copper wires, the armoring. They are quite easy to monitor because they will not change their shape and so on. But when you see the extruded layers, they are much more tricky. That means they may change during the shrinkage, during cooling down. So we need something that looks through these layers and gives us the diameter and the wall thickness. That's a challenge.
Yeah, so let me guess, the X-Ray 6000 Pro might be a solution.
Yeah, you're correct. We have the system here, so
really?
I would like to
Great.
Let's go over. I would like to present it to you.
Yeah, very happy to.
All right, here we are. This is the X-Ray 6000 Pro. It's really the perfect solution for jacketing, for insulating cables, because without any presettings, you can directly measure the diameter. You can get the wall thickness of up to 3 layers. You get the ovality, but also the eccentricity.
Why actually is the eccentricity so important for this industry? Yeah.
Well, eccentricity means it's your first approach if you want to produce a good cable. That means you want to have a proper centering of the inner construction to the outer sheet. And every deviation from this perfect alignment is called eccentricity. So when you achieve the perfect centering, when you have the same thickness all over the circumference, then you can start minimizing the wall thickness down to the minimum. This is where you save the money. So this system helps you with that, and that's really the revolution in the industry.
Yes, saving money is always a good thing, especially to our customers, to improve their profitability in these special times. But what is maybe special about the X-ray? We already heard from colleagues, it has the power to look through things. What else is to mention about this technology?
Yeah, so as my colleague Christian Linke explained on Monday, we can look through. So this technology allows us to, to check the cable in 2 axes, and you see it in this animation there. The principle is rather simple. There's an X-ray source, and on the other side an X-ray camera, and the system is checking the intensity. So if the X-rays measure through the air, there's no loss of intensity. If there's an object in between, that means here the plastic layer, we see a change in the attenuation, so a change in the intensity.
Okay.
And with some, I would say, quite complex analysis behind that, we are able to bring out of these intensity levels, we bring out these measuring values.
Yeah, so through that approach you can achieve really accurate measurements, but I think this is only the first step, but because what's probably very powerful also for, I think, most of the SIKORA products is the step afterwards. So I think there's also automatic control. Maybe you could explain that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
more in detail.
let's say when you have all these values, then you can start manually to reduce the wall thickness. But automation is a very, very big topic in the industry. Everyone wants to have highly automated lines. So with the system seeing the wall thickness, the automatic controller can get in place and brings the wall thickness really down to the minimum without any actions from the line operator, for example.
And then again, saving material cost and cost overall.
Exactly. So the system allows you to monitor the quality of the cable, and it also allows you to save material, but also to avoid scrap, which would be the worst case, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the outcome sounds pretty nice to have savings, but before coming into the joy of saving, I actually need a quite big upfront investment, right? So when does my investment will pay off?
You name it right, it's an investment, so it's always the question, when do I get my money back, and when does this system gain profits for me? And for that we have an ROI calculator, return on investment calculator, where we want to individually calculate this return on investment with our customers, so that everyone has the numbers for his extrusion line where he wants to invest. And for people that are responsible for CAPEX, for invests, they will like to hear that by our experience, the normal return on investment time is less than a year.
Oh, wow, yeah, less than a year. I think this is a no-brainer. You don't need any calculator. I think, so what's the usual average useful lifetime? I think it's 10, 15 years. I've heard something about that.
So. I think we scrapped the last one, which is almost 20 years old now.
Wow.
But regular lifetime, I would say 10 years you can still do upgrades, and then 15 years you should consider to
this is
replace it.
This is not an investment anymore, it's just a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, you pay, let's say, for 1 year, and then you get income for 14 years. So that's
pretty
good.
Nice.
Yeah,
pretty nice. Awesome, but what about if I already have an existing production line? Can I also use the device for retrofitting my line?
Actually, retrofitting is a huge topic for us. There are so many existing extrusion lines, and so we are following 2 ways, 2 approaches. The first one is the integration into the PLC of the line. So where you have seen that in all these interviews here, we have quite good relation to the OEMs. So what we can do, we can support the customers to find the right interface for this device, to integrate it into the line. And the second approach would be a standalone solution. And standalone is also quite interesting because sometimes customers have very old lines. So where maybe you don't have a PLC because everything is running analog, or you have an old PLC, you don't want to upgrade. So with this one, you can place the system in this line, have the automatic control, you have the monitoring, you have an extensive data storage in it. So it's coming on its own, it's working on its own, and you have a high grade of automation just by placing the system in this old line.
Yes, absolutely, and this sounds really cool. So how many times have you sold it so far, this great device?
We are proud to say that meanwhile there are more than 2,500 systems operating in the market.
Okay. What does it mean in market share? Do we have any numbers here?
Market share, It's hard to say because there's no real competition, I would say. So
Okay.
therefore, yeah.
Okay, we got that point.
Okay. So, but you see that the systems are installed in major corporations, so major big players, groups, but also small customers that just have 1, 2, 3 extrusion lines. So you see that it's really a benefit. And this trend to automation shows that these systems are really successful with that.
Yes,
So
and also for Industry 4.0 and all those developments, right?
exactly, yeah. Transferring the data directly to the database, and in the end having a hassle-free operation. So it's a one button, you turn the system on, and it provides the measurements. So that's really nice.
Yeah, sounds really meaningful to me and great. You have mentioned so many benefits, but maybe coming close to the end of our presentation, can you sum up maybe the 3 key benefits that you value the most about the X-Ray 6000 Pro?
Yeah, with pleasure. So if we sum it up, we start with the ability to look through materials and to see eccentricities, to see wall thicknesses at a very early stage. That allows us to react if something is going into the wrong direction, and that allows us to avoid scrap. And if you know all these dimensions, you have this automatic control, so you maintain a constantly good quality. And this all with the background that you don't have to have we don't have to put much into this operation, so it's really hassle-free. You just press the button and the system provides.
Start and go. Yeah,
exactly.
Great. Yeah, actually, the one point that was most convincing for myself, just speaking personally, is the payback period of less than 1 year.
Yeah.
I mean, this is really awesome. You got convinced me with that one number.
Okay.
So really happy to hear maybe more about this device, but maybe later on in the Q&A, so we can tailor it to the questions of our visitors. For everyone who has just joined us, welcome to SIKORA Connect 2020. You are currently watching our live program with a topic focus on insulating and jacketing lines. Next to me, we have the expert for the X-Ray 6000 Pro, Mr. Christian Schallich, the respective area sales manager, and he is now going to answer all your questions that is on your mind. So please feel free to send in all your questions using the comment function. And again, you are also welcome to send in maybe comments or feedback, greetings that you want to share with us on our last day, and we are very happy to share it on stage. Christian.
Hello again.
Yeah, hello again. Now let's start with our Q&A, I would say. We have a lot of questions to go. So the first one is, we are using 2 diameter devices for WT. What is the advantage of an X-ray device? Now you probably have to explain to us WT, what is meant by that?
Yeah, I guess they mean wall thickness.
Ah.
So, yeah, there's principally there are 2 ways to measure the wall thickness. One is the diameter differential method. That means before and after the extrusion, I place a diameter gauge. This is one thing. It works well. It works for decades, but it has one disadvantage, and the disadvantage is that you don't get the eccentricity that I just explained. So you don't know how the cable or the under subconstruction is laying in the insulation. For that, we have this X-Ray 6000 Pro, which is checking the diameter, ovality, but also eccentricity and this wall thickness distribution.
Okay, so with the X-ray you can cover all these parameters at once, and for the other one, you have to only
have some limitations.
Some limitations, and
we also offer that. So I don't want to say something bad about it, but no, it's really it's one thing, and this is the next level. Let's say.
So maybe also depending on your requirements, but maybe for some cables, I don't know. Are there also any cables where it's not that important, or depending on your?
It depends a bit on the value of the cable. Let's say if you can afford to produce scrap, you maybe ignore the eccentricity. If you don't want to produce scrap, you better look at the eccentricity.
Okay.
So this is
So let's look at the eccentricity, I would say, and go for the X-ray. So the next question is, at which kilovolt operates the instrument? Wow, very technical one.
Yeah.
That must be an engineer.
Okay, so yeah, we have different high voltage levels. So the systems operate depending a bit on the construction. So if we have thick walls, you can imagine that you need a high amount of X-rays to go through. And high amount of X-rays means that you need more power. So we start with 30 kilovolts. 50 kilovolts would be more or less our standard. And for bigger dimensions, we are then with 70 kV.
Okay.
70 kilovolts.
Okay. And what about the safety? I mean, X-ray, maybe some people will have some cautions about that. And if you said mentioning for some you need more X-ray, how does it work with the safety part?
Yeah, so basically, as I said before, we have 2,500 X-ray based systems in the field. So that means we would not have that if there would be any bigger concerns with that. So of course it's X-ray. You have to take some precautions. Means we take the precaution that the system is hermetically sealed. So it's really 100% sure that no radiation is leaking out of this device. Some other things are that we have, you have seen the opening where the cable goes through. There we have a little safety box to avoid that people put their arm into the system. So everything is taken care of.
Great.
And additionally, on site when we do the commissioning, we also make sure that the surrounding, everything is safe for that. So we take care on that together with the customers.
Wow, that's a perfect statement. So no need to worry for that. For the safety part as well, SIKORA is thinking for you, together with you, about everything that matters. That's really, really, really great to hear. Then let's move on with the next question. This instrument is based on X-ray. I just wonder if we need any specific certification. This is actually, well,
it's basically the same, yes.
It's the same, right?
Specific certification just means, yes, there are authorities. It's like when you go to the dentist and they use their X-ray system. They have to make notice to the authorities that they use this equipment. So someone from the authorities comes by every year or every 5 years. It's different in every country.
Yes.
But it's just checking, okay, is this device still okay?
Yes.
But that's it. It's really, really simple.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the comparison with dentists is a great one. Yeah, there are people are also fine with that. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Great. Okay, so the next question is this 6000 Pro, can the 6000 Pro also work as standalone equipment? Yes.
Yes. We've seen that. You can either integrate the equipment into the production lines, PLC, or the system runs as standalone, means it measures, it automatically controls, and it also grabs all the data and stores it internally, or you can directly transfer it to your server, for example, for the Industry 4.0 big data, these things.
But why should people go for a standalone solution? I mean, integration and automatic control sounds quite meaningful to me.
Yeah, actually, the standalone solution also means that you can still have the automatic control.
Okay.
You just don't have to integrate it into the line, because sometimes you need line upgrades that are coming with this integration. And yeah, if you can save this expense, you maybe go the other way, the standalone way.
Okay, yeah, I understand that. Great, so wow, the time is running really fast, Christian, so we are already coming to our last question here on stage. But we still have a lot of questions from your side. Thanks so much for the interest that we are not going able to answer here on stage. But as usual, please leave your contact information, and a SIKORA employee is very happy to reach out to you and to answer all your questions one-on-one. So the last question for you, Christian, here on stage is, what is the positioning of the equipment in the extrusion line?
Yeah, it depends, as usual.
That's always a good answer.
Yeah, it really depends on your process. What do you want to do? Do you want to have fast results, so a fast reaction on processes? Then you want to put the system into the beginning of the line. So once let's say the jacketing or insulation is on the conductor, you can directly react. The other approach is that you want to have a final quality control. So the product that goes finally to your end customer should be checked for all dimensions and so on. Then of course you want to put it into the end, where the shrinkage is done, where everything is done, just before packaging.
Okay.
So we are open with both, or open to both things.
Yeah, SIKORA offers both, and dear customer, you have to decide based on your needs and preference. With that, Christian, you are done for today. Thanks so much. It was really, nice and inspiring speaking to you.
Thank you.
And enjoy the show from the backstage now.